Question 1. What all items AIDL supports in case of website builders? Answer. AIDL supports char sequence, list, map, string, and all types of native Java data types. Question 2. How do you avoid an ANR? Answer. You basically want as little work done as possible on the main thread, also known as the UI thread. Since that is the core single thread that your application runs on, you would want to keep activities that require more complex computations on network and database connections, for example, on separate worker threads so as not to slow down the main thread. Question 3. What is long polling? How does it work, and why would you use it? Answer. There are two important drawbacks that need to be considered when using long polling. Long polling requests are not different from any other HTTP request, and web servers handle them the same way. This means that every long poll connection will reserve server resources, potentially maxing out the number of connections the server can handle. This can lead to HTTP connection timeouts. Each web browser will limit the maximum number of connections web application can make. Question 4. What is the difference between service-oriented architecture (SOA) and a web service? Answer. SOA, service-oriented architecture, is an architectural pattern that makes possible for services to interact with one another independently. Web services is a realization of SOA concept that leverages XML, JSON, etc. and common internet protocols such as HTTPS, SMTP, etc. SOA is a system-level architectural style that tries to expose business. WOA is an interface-level architectural style that focuses on the means by which these service capabilities are exposed to consumers. Question 5. What is copy constructor, and when it is called? Answer. Copy constructor is a special constructor of a class which is used to create copy of an object. Compiler will give a default copy constructor if you don't define one. This implicit constructor will copy all the members of source object to target object. Implicit copy constructors are not recommended, because if the source object contains pointers they will be copied to target object, and it may cause heap corruption when both the objects with pointers referring to the same location. Question 6. Describe the key advantages of HTTP 2 as compared with HTTP 1.1. Answer. HTTP 2 provides decreased latency to improve page load speed by supporting data compression of HTTP headers, server push technologies, loading of page elements in parallel over a single TCP connection, prioritization of requests. An important operational benefit of HTTP 2 is that it avoids the head-of-line blocking problem in HTTP 1. Question 7. What is an ATAG and how does it work? Answer. An ATAG is an opaque identifier assigned by a web server to a specific version of a resource found at an URL. If the resource content at that URL ever changes, a new and different ATAG is assigned. In typical usage, when an URL is retrieved, the web server will return the resource along with its corresponding ATAG value, which is placed in an HTTP ATAG field. ATAG unique_id_of_resource_version. The client may then decide to cache the resource along with its ATAG. Question 8. What is cross-origin resource sharing cause? How does it work? Answer. Cross-origin resource sharing (CORS) is a mechanism that allows many resources, e.g., fonts, JavaScript, etc., on a web page to be requested from another domain outside the domain from which the resource originated. It's a mechanism supported in HTML5 that manages XML HTTP request access to a domain different. CORS adds new HTTP headers that provide access to permitted origin domains. For HTTP methods other than GET or POST with certain MIME types, the specification mandates that browser Question 9. What are web services? Answer. Web services are client and server applications that communicate over the World Wide Web's WWW Hypertext Transfer Protocol (HTTP). Web services provide a standard means of interoperating between software applications running on a variety of platforms and frameworks. Question 10. What is Web Services Description Language (WSDL)? Answer. WSDL, Web Services Description Language, is an XML format for describing web services and how to access them. Question 11. Explain the purpose of each of the HTTP request types when used with a RESTful web service. Answer. The purpose of each of the HTTP request types when used with a RESTful web service is as follows. GET retrieves data from the server, should only retrieve data and should have no other effect. POST sends data to the server for a new entity. It is often used when uploading a file or submitting a completed web form. PUT, similar to POST but used to replace an existing entity. PATCH, similar to PUT but used to update only certain fields within an existing entity. Question 12. What are containers? Answer. Containers holds objects and widgets together, depending on which items are needed and in what arrangement they need to be in. Containers may hold labels, fields, buttons, or even child containers, as examples. Question 13. What do you mean by storage classes? Answer. Storage class are used to specify the visibility, scope and lifetime of symbols, functions and variables. That means, storage classes specify where all a variable or function can be accessed until what time those variables will be available during the execution of program. Question 14. What is a MIME type? What does it consist of, and what is it used for? Answer. MIME is an acronym for Multipurpose Internet Mail Extensions. It is used as a standard way of classifying file types over the Internet. Web servers and browser have a defined list of MIME types, which facilitates transfer of files of a known type, irrespective of operating system or browser. A MIME type actually has two parts, a type and a subtype that are separated by a slash. For example, the MIME type for Microsoft Word files is application MS Word. Question 15. What is Message Transmission Optimization Mechanism (MTOM)? Answer. MTOM, Message Transmission Optimization Mechanism, is a mechanism for transmitting large binary attachments with SOAP messages as raw bytes, allowing for smaller messages.